As a reminder, we're going to be focusing on the upper half, so we're going to be following this series into Leo Rusher, most likely into Forjumi, most likely into Cristiano. This is assuming that series go the way that we think they are. There is potential for upsets, and regardless, we're going to be focusing on the upper half of the bracket. Just as a heads up. As a heads up. And here we go. We're diving into our next series, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hecate, we have our purple Terran player representing Team Hyper One. We have the South Korean Terran. It is HonMonO. Living in the land of Japan, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Protoss player, currently teamless. I'm not too familiar with him. I don't really know him too well, but it is Flexy. And if you are in the chat, and if you are maybe more familiar with Flexy, let us know. Let us know who he is, because I have no idea. I've never seen this player before in my life. I don't know where they're from. I did ask, and they are teamless. If I have a little bit of time, I'll ask them like what country they're from and maybe a little bit more information. I just didn't have time because we just jumped right into the game. But I will definitely ask him a little bit more about himself as we are getting into this. Again, it's going to be a Rax Expand setup, single gas opener here out of HonMonO. Meanwhile, Gate Cyber Expand here from Flexy. Pretty standard stuff so far. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Now, when it comes to our players, as a reminder, HonMonO, he is a very aggressive and very cheesy player in this matchup. What I mean by that, HonMonO, in TvP, he is all about 1 base all-ins and 2 base all-ins. HonMonO, it's not a HonMonO Terran versus Protoss unless we pull the boys at some point, okay? If he doesn't pull the boys, we know that someone else is playing. We know this is a fake, papi. It's a fake. So we expect the boys to be pulled at some point. Again, very aggressive, specifically in TvP. He plays macro against Zerg. He plays macro, a little bit more macro against Terran as well. But against Protoss, he's an animal. Like he's the definition of ape. He's like against Protoss. He's the most aggressive Korean Terran, is what I will say. I've introduced him as that before, and I stand by that. Do stand by that. Cheesiest Korean Terran. Behind this, we do see Flexy opening up Stargate. Ooh, bold move here. Gonna be a Stargate opener, most likely into Phoenixes. Is a very standard way to play, but I feel like HonMonO thrives against Phoenix openers. Just because you can be a little bit safer and more defensive with Blink Stalker based builds, especially if you throw down additional gateways. If you're defending with Phoenixes, it can be difficult depending on what you're up against. Like if we're talking about pulling the boys, I would be concerned. Behind this, we're getting into our 1-1-1. Ooh, no add-on swap. Interesting. We're working towards a mine drop, actually. Okay. HonMonO, you have my attention. Scrolling up in the chat. Oh, we're being told in the chat, Flexy is a teamless Polish Terran. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Wait, if he's Terran, why is he playing Protoss? Or is he a race picker? That's interesting. I'll ask. I'll ask him after this. I'll ask him. I'll ask him if he's from Poland. If he's from Bologna, I'll figure it out. But behind this, we are getting into a 3-1-1 setup here as well. Not the most aggressive 3-1-1, to be honest. This is looking pretty standard. It's looking pretty tame here from HonMonO. Widow mines are amassing. We are actually not going for a mine drop. Wait, hold on. Okay, I take back what I said about how this looks standard. We're going straight into a tech lab for that starport. We have a tech lab already on the factory as well. Tank production has commenced, and we are going for a very early push. A ground-based push. Vanilla Marines, 2 Widow mines, and we're working our way straight towards that natural. Behind this, Flexy going for a 3rd base. Again, going to be a Stargate feeding straight into a 3rd. He's ready for a drop, but a drop is not coming. Hallucination Scout is denied, but he's scouted. Flexy getting ready here at the natural. Amassing his Phoenixes, bringing together his Stalkers. Sorry, his Adepts even. And it looks like he will pick up those Winter Mines. Very nice skin up here by Flexy. Winter Mine goes down, Marines as well. Ooh. And this was a little bit wasteful here by HonMonO. Bleeding out so much. One Winter Mine got borrowed, but that was 7 Marines and 1 Winter Mine for 2 probes. Ay, ay, ay. Not a good trade there for HonMonO as he does waddle away with that Winter Mine. Behind this, we're just building up here on 2 bases. Stim is on the way. Going for an add-on swap here for medevac production. We have invested into our first Raven. Safety Raven here at the natural. You can see that HonMonO, he didn't scout. He didn't know what was happening. And he has a very defensive setup here. With the bunker, with the Raven, detection, and tanks. Meanwhile, Flexy, he's going Phoenix, Colossus. Phoenix Colossus here from Flexy. Going for a very standard composition. Very standard play out of our Protoss player. I will stand by that. Nothing too fancy. Colossus on the way. Colossi are on the way. And HonMonO, we are getting ready for our push. There it is. Boys are being pulled. This is the HonMonO that I know and love. I mentioned it before, and I'm not crazy. Okay, we've casted plenty of HonMonO, and boys are being pulled. We are pushing out here with 3 tanks. We have boys to repair. We can throw down bunkers. We have the Raven for detection, 4 auto turrets, and a disable. Uh-oh. And we're looking for that Colossus to disable. Again, Flexy, can he keep up here as he just now sees the army? Again, no Observer was in position. Observer just now pulling back. Tanks are sieging up. We have our first Colossus. We're going into a fleet beacon? Oh my god, Flexy being too greedy. He's trying to rush into Skytoss, throwing down the Stargate, but no, Skytoss is not going to help. It's not going to be here. Not anytime soon. We need defenses here and now. And Skytoss may just be what kills Flexy. As he needs to buy time, this base is going to go down. Flexy gives up on it. He knows he cannot defend. Flexy buying time for extra warp-ins. How many gateways are we on? 2 gates! No shot. Only 2 gateways here for Flexy. Supply blocked. He's supply blocked. This is his army. This is all he has. 1 Colossus, 1 Stalker, 1 Sentry, and Phoenixes. And this push is designed to kill. Turrets are being thrown down. Yeah, we're just leapfrogging forward here with these turrets. We now have 2 Colossus, I will say that. 2 Colossi now out here for Flexy. Ooh, but we take a lot of damage. A lot of shots go off. Tempests are on the way. Here we go, we are engaging. We still want forward. We focus down the Phoenixes. We disable the Colossus. And there is nothing to stop the Terran. Now is the time to push while we can. Disable still is on. But it's about to run out. And the Tempests are arriving. Oh, there is no 3rd base. Tempest has arrived. We can see HonMonO just containing Flexy to 2 bases. The Tempest, they will reveal themselves. They do outrange everything that HonMonO has. And we throw down 5 starports. That's a reaction. 5 starports. We're landing our 3rd base. Again, the 3rd was thrown down as we were killing the 3rd base of Flexy. Do Stim on forward. Ooh, it's a Colossus though. Again, Tempest Colossus is a difficult army to push into without Vikings. But Vikings are ideal. Vikings, they shoot everything that Flexy has. Like Phoenixes, Colossus, and Tempest. As Flexy is stuck on 2 bases. Ooh, Phoenixes are going to be thrown away. Yeah, every Phoenix goes down. Big overextension there by Flexy. Tempests are going ham. They can focus down all the tanks. We're making 6 Vikings at a time. We're doing what we can here. We focus down a couple of those tanks. Flexy, he does move forward. And we can see Flexy here attempting to stabilize. Meanwhile, HonMonO, his working count isn't ideal. Remember, he did pull the boys. He did kind of hinder his own economy. So even though HonMonO has a faster third, which is true, his working count is still a little bit lackluster. So here we go. He's making 3 SCVs at a time. He's amassing more Vikings. That's a lot of Vikings. 16 Vikings out here for HonMonO. And Flexy is basically going pure Skytoss. Pure Skytoss from Flexy. He has 2 gateways, no Twilight Council, no ground upgrades. This is concerning. I'm concerned for Flexy. The reason why I say is, I mean, he's trying to recover. He's playing from behind. He's down a base. But the problem here is that he has no support. Ideally, if you're playing Skytoss against Terran, you need either Disruptors or Storm, Archons. What these things provide is a way to deter Vikings, specifically the Archons and Storms. Archons and Storms, they're a good way to zone away the Vikings. Otherwise, there's nothing to stop them from just diving on in and focusing down everything in the sky. Disruptors are good to zone away the ground army, specifically. Meanwhile, here comes HonMonO looking to try to camp the production. He gets here a little bit too late. There's nothing to camp. Carrier's still halfway done. Yeah, you can see he's hoping to catch the carrier. Bold move here from HonMonO. There are 2 Stalkers on the ground. He's going for the dive. Gets 1 Colossus. Gets 2. Gets 3. He's one-shotting Colossus. He's one-shotting Colossus. Oh my god, getting every single Colossus. Big pickoffs. That was 5 Colossus going down. And this is what we spoke about. Oh, he's bleeding out a bit much. But again, like, there's just no support for the Skytoss or for the army of Flexy. Marines, they come in from the right-hand side. They force a recall. And now, without any Colossus, now the Marines are that much more terrifying. They're that much more threatening. Ooh, a bit of a misclick there by Flexy. Almost kills his own Tempest. And all that HonMonO has to do is just focus on Viking production. That's all he has to do. Focus on Viking, and of course his Marine army as well. But Viking, Marine, upgrades, bases, 4th base now being taken. And this army from Flexy, in my eyes at least, it looks vulnerable. It looks very vulnerable, very fragile as an army. And it's one of those things where, I mean, I can't blame Flexy because he's playing from behind, because he lost his bases, because he lost his economy. He's still recovering and he can't really afford to tech up in other directions. Here we go. How many Vikings? 31! 31 Vikings. We focus on one of the carriers and we can keep going. Good kiting here with the Tempest. But there's only so much we can do. We lose a 2nd carrier, 3rd, a 4th carrier goes down. Every carrier falls. The Colossus, and now we can focus on all the Tempest. As we can see here, Tempest, they just can't do anything on their own. GG gets called, and HonMonO will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played here. HonMonO does take a lead. Meanwhile, a big shout out. Siema. Siema, papi. Dzień dobry. Welcome, everyone. Welcome from everyone from Aristry Stream. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great time. I know that, you know, the last series was a little bit bittersweet, but regardless, I hope you enjoyed yourself. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Cranky Ducklings. We are, of course, casting Logic Games. We are in the middle of HonMonO versus Flexy. The winner of this series goes up against Leo Rusher. The winner goes up against Leo Rusher. Leo Rusher was the player that just competed against Aristry. Just for some context. Just for a little bit of context, just so you are aware of what is going on. So, you know, it's all related. It's all related. But thank you so much, Aristry. Hope you had a great time. And take care. Take care, papi. Take care. So we're getting ready for our next game. Okay, I have confirmation. I have confirmation here because I was just quickly asking because there were some people in the chat that said Flexy is the Polish Terran player, and I was a little bit confused. So I because he's playing Protoss, so I just wanted to make sure, and he is from Poland, yeah. So he's the same player. Maybe he's a race picker, or maybe he doesn't like TvT. Maybe he wants to avoid the mirror matchup, but he is from Polonia, so now we know. We have confirmation, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Purple Terran representing Team Hyper 1. The most aggressive, cheesiest Terran player in South Korea, it is HonMonO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player, the pink Polish Protoss, representing himself down in the series, but looking to fight back. It is Flexy. Here we go. So again, maybe he is a race picker. It's possible. Regardless, he's here embracing Protoss, and again, when it came to the last game, it was just a difficult position to be in. Yes, he was working with SkyToss, and we saw that it did look quite weak there for Flexy, but the reason for that is because he lost his third, right? He lost his third base, he lost a lot of his economy, lost a lot of momentum because of the 2-base push from HonMonO. Oh my god, as we are reacting hard, pulling... Wait, what? What just happened? HonMonO, he really wanted to kill that probe, and he did kill it. He denies the scout. What is he trying to pull off here? It is going to be Marine first. It's going to be a Racked Expand, Economic Opener. Checking the vision of Flexy, he did not see the gases. Maybe he's trying to fake out something like a 1-base all-in. Or something more aggressive. But yeah, that just really caught me off guard because it's a standard opener. HonMonO pulling the boys again. Marine first into a reactor. But yeah, winding it back. Again, Flexy was just in a really rough position because of the 2-base borderline all-in from HonMonO. Yes, HonMonO did expand, but it was a late expansion from HonMonO, and his push was committed. Maybe that's a better way to put it. His push wasn't necessarily all-in, but committed. It had to do damage, and it did. It did do damage, and Flexy was playing from behind from that moment. A big reason why he struggled to defend was also because he was taking into SkyToss, and he was vulnerable in that moment. We saw that he had 2 gateways, no charge, no immortal, no safety immortal, just nothing else on the ground, only 1 and then 2 Colossus, and that's really all he had. So Flexy just could not retain his third, and yeah, it was just an uphill battle from there, but hopefully Flexy can bounce back. Hopefully he can bounce back here, and I wonder how he adjusts to HonMonO. Meanwhile, from the side of HonMonO, he went for a very committed 2-base push in the last game. Will he do it again? The answer most likely is yes. He won't necessarily go for the same build. He doesn't have to go for the same build, but I expect 2-base aggression. 2-base aggression is the standard for HonMonO in this matchup. The question becomes, what exactly does he do on 2 bases? For now, it's a 1-1-1. We have a safety Cyclone on the way. We're reactoring out Marines. Remember, HonMonO, he threw away a lot of Marines early on. A lot of Marines were thrown away. It wasn't the best start for him, despite his success. It wasn't the best start for HonMonO, so we'll see if he does tighten up his early game. As Flexy is coming in for a scout. Hallucination dives into the main base, gets eyes on the 1-1-1, gets eyes on the gases, and the saturation at the natural. So Flexy should be feeling pretty safe overall. As I say that, once again, we pull a couple of boys. 3 SCVs have been pulled to repair. 4 SCVs have been pulled to prepare. And HonMonO, he is pushing here and now with his first Cyclone. He has been spotted by the Phoenix. Oh. Has been spotted. Bunker gets thrown down. HonMonO, he is already here, this time with a Cyclone instead of Widow Mines. Overcharge is popped. Oof. And HonMonO just going to be threatening that natural base, waiting for the overcharge to run out. We have 2 Phoenixes. We're about to have an Immortal. This Immortal is so important to the defense. A safety Immortal from Flexy. Does arrive. Behind this, more Cyclones being produced. A Liberator as well. HonMonO, he's rallying across the map. HonMonO, he wants to end the game. He wants to end the game with this. No stim, no combat shields, no upgrades. Just sheer army. Just trying to brute force it here against Flexy. You can see him just continuing to just pump out more Marines, more Libs. Ooh, 3rd CC does start up behind this though. HonMonO, he is transitioning, but he will get a kill on the pylon. Ooh, depowers the shield batteries. Bit of an Artosis pylon. Backup pylon on the way. Second Immortal has arrived. Third Immortal is in production. So we are building up an army. We are building up quite an army here as we are pushing forward with those Immortals. Good target finding by HonMonO, but we're focusing down those Cyclones. Liberators going ham. The Immortals, they go down one after the other. A little bit too much firepower there. And HonMonO, he breaks Flexy and he takes a series 2-0. GG. GG, well played again. Very committed there by HonMonO with that push really early on, just catching Flexy off guard. He did have a good Immortal count, that's true, but again, the Phoenix opener, the Stargate opener, is what HonMonO hopes for. I spoke about it in game 1, but the problem with Phoenix openers is they're really good for macro games because they give you map control by denying drops. They deny drop play, and drop play is very standard in this matchup, right? Like Widowmine drops, even early Cyclone drops, right? It's like heading towards a more macro game. But these dedicated pushes, Phoenixes don't really help. As we saw there, Phoenixes, they don't really add too much. What are we going to do? Pick up a Marine at a time, right? Like pick up a Cyclone at a time when there's so much anti-air already, and you leave your Phoenix vulnerable and stationary. Like these openers, they can sometimes struggle against it. And again, HonMonO, he thrives in this kind of scenario where his opponent opens standard. GG, well played. HonMonO, he will take the series in the end. Oh, I apologize. Looks like I have to fix this up. Does take the series in the end. And will advance on to face off against his next opponent. Meanwhile, big shout out to Flexy. Big shout out. Again, it was great to see him. I don't really know his league. I don't know his rank. I'm not familiar with him. But if he is a little bit lower MMR, then that means he is eligible for some of the bonus prizes. I spoke about this earlier. If you're unfamiliar, check out the Wikipedia page because there is a bonus prize for players under 6k, players under 5k, and players under 4k. There's 3 separate bonuses, so depending on Flexy's MMR, maybe he qualifies for a bonus prize. Like maybe he can still earn some money here. So a big shout out to Flexy. Great to see him here. Great to see him competing. A little bit lesser known, but much love nonetheless. Much love here as we do see HonMonO advancing on into the next round where he's going to be facing off against another opponent, a teammate from Southeast Asia, Leo Rusher. Let's go.